we're calling this a day in the life of an angel. That's an idiom. We mean, what's the moment-to-moment life like? I mean, what do you do? If you're an angel, if you're in heaven, you're in the afterlife, what are you doing? So that's what we're going to look at. And like if you had to give a report on what people around here did, you might start with the civilization, the communities that we live in. So that's what we're starting at here in this section. All right, so let's first take a look at what forms communities. We're going to look at heaven and hell, number 41. The angels of any given place are not all together in one place, but are separated into larger and smaller communities, depending on differences in the good effects of the love and faith they are engaged in. Angels engaged in similar activities form a single community. There is an infinite variety of good activities in heaven, and each individual angel is, so to speak, his or her own activity. You are your activity. So this is like, and we did a show on this a while ago called The Shape of Heaven, and it's a theme in Swedenborg's works that the afterlife, heaven is organized like a human body. And like in a human body, you have a liver, right? And all the cells in the liver are liver cells. That's why they're together, right? They're all performing the same function there. It's the same thing in heaven. So everybody who's doing a certain good, helpful thing that's similar to other people, you're together in a community, and that actually pulls you together, this focus on trying to serve the common good in some way, right? So that's how communities are formed. Now let's take a look, but how big are they? You know, in heaven, does everybody live in little villages, or is it all in massive cities? Or what are the sizes of the community? So here is Swedenborg describing that a little bit.
There are larger and smaller communities in the heavens. The larger ones consist of tens of thousands of individuals, the smaller of some thousands, and the smallest of hundreds. There are even people who live alone, house by house, so to speak, and family by family. Even though they live apart, they are still arranged in the same pattern as those who live in communities, with the wiser of them in the center and the simpler at the periphery. They are very closely under the Lord's guidance and are the best of angels.
So the answer is all of the above, of course. I mean, you're talking about an afterlife that has had people funneling into it forever. You know, this is a huge place. It's not going to be like here on Earth, you have people living in all kinds of arrangements, but there's only one way to do it. So there are cities, there are towns, there are villages, and some people are living solo, the mountain men, mountain women of heaven, and that actually people who are living solo are often the ones that are really plugged in. But even so, within each, I don't know if you caught that, within each community there's a substructure with sort of like administrative, the wise people at the middle, and it kind of radiates out. So there's a structure to everything, and this is organized by the minds of the angels that are participating. And we're going to get into this a little bit more. So there's distance. So how far apart though, right? Are they all clumped together? Or are they all spread out? Like what determines how far one community is from another, right? And so this is Heaven and Hell 42. Where he says, this is cool, Swedenborg is going to sit around and tell us like the specifics of how far apart communities in the afterlife are. That's what you paid for, man, this sort of like encyclopedic detail. The distances between angelic communities in the heavens also vary as their activities vary, in general and in detail. This is because the only cause of distance in the spiritual world is the difference of the state of our more inward natures. In the heavens, then, differences in the state of love. When communities are very different, the distance between them is great. When the difference is slight, the distance is slight. Likeness makes for unity. So we have a little diagram here there's two major elements in the angelic mind, in our minds as well, as Swedenborg describes, love and wisdom. And so there's no space in the afterlife, like I was saying, but there is apparent space, meaning that you're not a mile away because you walked a mile away. You're a mile away because you're a mile different in the way you think and feel. You know what I'm saying? So you can see here these different communities. As you go to the right, more and more love pushes you to the right, more and more wisdom pushes you north. And so you kind of get your relation to other communities because you're all on the same grid, based on the way you're thinking and feeling. So the inside dictates the outside, and that is the theme, that it's the spiritual world, and the spirit is the mind. So what we would call the mind and the heart, the thoughts and the feelings, that is the spirit. And so it's a world based on spirit rather than a world based on physics. So the spiritual things, how you think, how you feel, are what dictates your positioning, what dictates the state that you're in, what you're seeing. So this is the basis of things there.